Why do some people quietly command a room while others fade into the background, even when they're just as smart, just as skilled? It's not about luck. It's not even about raw talent. It's about something much harder to detect, something hidden beneath the surface. There are invisible rules that govern influence and power. No one teaches them, but everyone is judged by them. In the real world, those who rise don't make noise. They observe, they calculate, and when the time comes, they strike with precision, calm, controlled, and unseen. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on 15 of the most shadowy, strategic principles used by the world's most brilliant minds. These aren't games of deception. They are tactics of survival. And once you learn them, you won't be able to forget them. Let's begin with Law Thunster 15. Use absence to increase your worth. You see, if you're always available, always showing up, always saying yes, you slowly become ordinary, predictable. Easy to reach, easy to overlook, but human psychology doesn't crave what's always present. It craves what's missing, what's scarce. This is the essence of the power of scarcity. Just like diamonds are valued, not because they're flashy, but because they're rare, your worth multiplies the moment people can no longer easily access you. Even the Stoics understood this. They taught detachment, not just from material things, but from the need to constantly be seen, praised, or validated. Real strength doesn't come from being everywhere. It comes from choosing when and where to appear with intention. When you're constantly in front of others, you start to lose the sharpness of your presence. But take a step back, even for a little while, and something strange happens. Curiosity grows, imagination kicks in, desire deepens. Legends aren't built on visibility, they're built on absence, on mystery, on the impact of their return. Powerful. People treat their presence like an event, something rare, something others mark on their calendars, something that's talked about long after it's over. So never underestimate your silence, your distance, your temporary disappearance. These things create space where your value can rise like steam in the cold. And when you come back, don't come back the same. Return sharper, stronger, elevated. If you master this one law, you won't need to shout to be noticed. Attention will find you. So step back, let the world wonder. Because that's exactly when your power begins to rise. Just as absence can elevate your value, trust, when understood deeply, can become one of the most powerful tools in the game of influence. Law 14. Weaponize trust strategically. Trust is not just a virtue, it's a weapon, one of the most dangerous currencies in the pursuit of power. And the terrifying truth? The people closest to you aren't always your strongest allies. More often than not, they are your biggest blind spots, your greatest risks. This is the essence of Law 14. Learn to exploit trust, not emotionally, but strategically. The Stoics remind us to strip away illusions, to see reality as it truly is. And one of the most seductive illusions of all is blind loyalty. Just because someone smiles doesn't mean they're on your side. Just because someone says, "I've got your back," doesn't mean they won't stab it. Throughout history, the most cunning leaders didn't rise through brute strength. They rose by becoming exactly what others trusted the most. Take Machiavelli's era as an example. One minister earned the unwavering faith of kings, not by demanding it, but by mirroring their desires, their fears, and their ambitions. Once, inside the circle of trust, he dismantled entire empires from the inside out. When someone sees you as their reflection, their confidant, their safe space, they speak openly. Their guard drops. Their strategies leak out like water through a cracked vase. And if you truly master this approach, by subtly reflecting their language, adopting their beliefs, and validating their mindset, they'll give you the keys to their kingdom without even realizing it. But let this be a warning. Trust is not a shield. It's not a promise of protection. It's a blade. And sometimes the one who holds it closest to you is the one most prepared to use it. The friend who laughs with you may be the same one studying you. The confidant who listens well may be collecting data. In this world, knowledge is power, and the one who gathers the most insight, the most truth, the most secrets, wins. So stay sharp. Talk less. Listen with purpose. Watch everything. Because those who truly understand trust don't just protect it, they turn it into a weapon. Just as trust can be weaponized, influence can be unlocked, not through emotion, but through alignment with self-interest. Law 13. Align with self-interest, not sympathy. One of the most painful truths about the world is this: being good, being loyal, being deserving isn't enough. People don't move because of your character. They move when they see what's in it for them. This is the heart of Law 13. Appeal to self-interest, not to mercy, not to loyalty, not to gratitude. In the real world, doors don't open out of pity. They open because you offer value. You could be the kindest, most well-meaning person in the room, but if people don't see a reason to act in their own favor, they simply won't. Even Julius Caesar understood this. He didn't plead for support. He didn't ask people to follow him out of blind allegiance. Instead, he awakened ambition. He offered rewards, wealth, power, recognition. He made it clear that aligning with him wasn't a favor. It was an opportunity. And in doing so, he didn't just lead an army. He commanded an empire. The Stoics remind us again and again, don't hope for fairness. Don't expect the world to reward you just because you deserve it. That's not how this game works. The world operates on incentives. It rewards clarity, alignment, and usefulness. There are two types of people: those who wait to be helped, and those who position themselves so well, so clearly beneficial to others, that help becomes inevitable. If you want others to act, don't rely on sympathy. Show them the gain. Show them how supporting you supports them. And no, this isn't manipulation. It's strategy. It's wisdom. It's clarity. Because true influence doesn't come from appealing to hearts. It comes from aligning with desires. So stop hoping people will understand your pain, your story, your potential. Start showing them how your win is their win. And when that happens, when they see their success in your success, you won't need to beg, plead, or convince. You'll simply become the obvious choice. If aligning with self-interest earns support, then knowing how to offer that support strategically and selectively can turn perception into power. Law 12. Disarm with strategic kindness. The most effective form of deception is rarely loud. It doesn't shout or threaten. Instead, it smiles. It gives, it comforts, because people rarely question those who appear generous. Kindness has a way of lowering defenses faster than any sword ever could, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. and so dangerous. This is the essence of Law 12. Disarm with selective generosity. The most calculating minds don't flaunt their power through aggression. They reveal it subtly through carefully chosen moments of goodwill that look sincere but serve a deeper goal. When someone thinks you're on their side, they begin to relax. They stop guarding their weaknesses. Their suspicion fades. Their resistance softens. Genghis Khan understood this principle better than almost anyone in history. Instead of burning every city he conquered to the ground, he often came bearing gifts, offering protection, honor, even prosperity. And once the people accepted him, once they bowed in gratitude and lowered their guard, that's when he struck, with precision and permanence. That's the deadly illusion of trust. Once it's earned, people stop looking for the dagger. Behind the smile, the Stoics warn us, never assume, always observe. What appears to be virtue might just be strategy wearing a friendly face. Because those who speak with raw honesty at all times, those who give away too much too soon, are often the first to break when pressure comes, but the wise, they give just enough to gain access, to build rapport, to earn influence, nothing more, nothing emotional, only intentional. Real power often wears the mask of sincerity. It doesn't roar, it whispers, and it moves not with force, but with finesse. So don't mistake kindness for weakness, because in a world ruled by perception, the hand that offers a gift might also be hiding the blade. If kindness can conceal the blade, then true power lies not in appearances, but in becoming essential to the system itself. Law 11. Become irreplaceable, not just useful. Loyalty is often misunderstood. It's rarely about affection or admiration. People don't stay by your side because they love you. They stay because they need you. And the moment that need disappears, so does your value in their eyes. This is the harsh core of Law 11. Keep others dependent on you, not by force, not through threats, but through quiet indispensability. Because real power isn't about commanding attention, it's about creating systems that can't function without you. A wise king once asked his advisor, "Who holds the most power in the kingdom?" The advisor didn't point to the throne. He simply replied, "The one whose absence would break everything." That man may not wear a crown, may not stand in the spotlight, but if his presence is the glue holding the empire together, then he's the one truly in control. In ancient Rome, one cunning minister mastered this perfectly. He didn't flaunt his intelligence. He didn't reveal everything he knew. Instead, he fed the king knowledge in carefully measured pieces, always keeping the full picture just out of reach. He positioned himself as the only one who could connect the dots. But when the king, blinded by his own pride, thought he no longer needed the minister and dismissed him, the empire stumbled. Systems fell apart. Only then did they realize the true cost of what they had lost. Because what feels replaceable until it's gone was never truly appreciated. The lesson is clear and timeless. Never give it all away. Always hold back something, a skill, a key insight, a method, something that only you can do, fix, or understand. Think of a camel in the desert. No one praises its elegance, but without it, no one moves forward. Be that vital. Be the one thing they can't progress without. Even the Stoics though they preached self-reliance, also understood the quiet wisdom in embedding yourself so deeply into a system that your absence would cause it to collapse. So ask yourself honestly, if you vanished, tomorrow would the system adjust and carry on? Or would it fall apart, scrambling, broken, incomplete? That answer reveals everything about your true position in a world that's quick to replace the useful and even quicker to forget the generous. Make your absence feel like a collapse. That's the path to becoming indispensable. When you've built yourself into someone indispensable, the next step is even more critical, protecting that power from being drained by the wrong people. Law 10. Protect your energy from the unstable. It doesn't matter how driven you are. It doesn't matter how disciplined, how focused, or how brilliant your mind is. If your environment is toxic, your potential will shrivel in silence. This is Law 10. Avoid the unlucky and the negative. The Stoics often remind us to take responsibility for our internal world, to master our reactions, to control our thoughts, to stay centered. But they also offer another, tougher piece of wisdom. Be ruthless about the energy you allow into your life. Because some people don't just fail to help you, they actually corrode everything you're building. Their problems slowly become your stress. Their chaos spills into your calm. Their failures latch onto you like shadows until you no longer know where your burdens end and theirs begin. There's a story of a man, a genius in his field, known for his unmatched skill, relentless drive, and sharp intellect, and yet his world was falling apart, his finances in ruins, his relationships broken, his focus gone. Was he weak? No, but he was surrounded by weakness. His downfall didn't come from inside, it came from the people he allowed around him. Then, one day, he saw the truth. Every setback, every betrayal, every moment of burnout traced back to one source, his circle. He was surrounded by complainers, victims, drama addicts, people who thrived on excuses, not execution. And so he made the hardest yet wisest choice. He began cutting them off, slowly, deliberately. The noise disappeared, the chaos faded. And within a year, everything changed. His clarity returned. His work skyrocketed. His peace came back, because here's the truth most ignore. People are not neutral. They either elevate you or they erode you. There is no in-between. Negativity is infectious. Misery doesn't just sit quietly, it spreads like smoke in a closed room. Failure isn't always a single moment. Sometimes it's a mindset passed from one person to another until entire futures collapse under its weight. So, protect your path like a fortress. Not just your time, not just your plans. Protect your energy, your attention, your circle, because in the pursuit of greatness, kindness must never become permission for chaos. You cannot fix people who refuse to fix themselves. You cannot heal someone who feeds on being broken, but you can choose not to be pulled into their storm. And that one choice could save your future or even your life. After cutting out the chaos and protecting your energy, the next step is simple but powerful. Let your results speak louder than your voice. Law 9. Let action silence the noise. Never waste your time trying to convince those who have already chosen not to understand you. Some people aren't looking for truth. They're looking for conflict. They thrive in drama, pulling you into their world of emotional traps and mental fog. And here's the trap: if you engage, you lose. Not because they're right, but because you gave them what they wanted: your attention, your time, your energy. A fool will drag you down to his level, exhaust your peace, and walk away thinking he's won. That's why true power doesn't shout. It doesn't argue. It simply performs. This is Law 9. Win through your actions, not through arguments. The Stoics constantly taught that inner control is far more valuable than outward noise. When you feel the urge to argue, ask yourself, are you proving something, or are you still seeking validation? Because those who are truly powerful don't explain themselves. They don't chase approval. They move in silence, and their victories, those speak volumes. If someone doubts your value, don't argue. Don't try to defend. Let your discipline, your consistency, your undeniable progress crush their doubt. Every minute spent arguing is a minute stolen from building. Every time you react emotionally, you lose a little bit of your focus, your edge, your higher ground. Remember this: those who command real respect don't ask for it. They become impossible to ignore. Speak less, execute more. Let others talk while you build legacies. In a world where everyone is screaming to be seen, you'll become rare by choosing action over noise. So don't react, rise. Don't defend, deliver. Don't explain, excel. Whether they cheer for you or root against you, let them stand on the sidelines, watching in silence while your life becomes the loudest answer they'll ever hear. Because in the end, the world may argue with your words, but it cannot argue with your results. After learning that your actions can silence all arguments, the next level of power is learning not to chase, but to draw people in. Law 8. Draw people in without chasing. The one who chases will always be seen as less. The one who stands still with intention will always hold more power. This is the heart of Law 8. Make others come to you. In the world of influence, movement is not always progress. Every time you run after someone, whether in business, love, or leadership, you send a clear signal. They are the prize and you are the pursuer. But real power doesn't chase. It doesn't beg. It attracts. It positions itself so strategically, so unmistakably, that others feel compelled to come closer, not from pity, not from persuasion, but from pure necessity. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that all control begins from within. From that centered place, influence flows outward, like ripples from a still lake. So if you desire something from someone, don't ask repeatedly. Don't plead. Instead, build yourself into someone they need to reach. Create value so rare that others begin to crave what only you can provide. Use patience as a weapon. Let your silence work harder than your words. Make your absence louder than your presence. The most powerful people design the game in their favor. They create the terms. Then they wait calmly, deliberately, while others adjust and make the first move. Even the use of bait, when done wisely, isn't manipulation. It's strategy. You're not deceiving. You're simply allowing others to recognize what's already true, that they need you more than you need them. Your silence becomes gravity. Your posture becomes magnetism. And when people sense that you are essential to their next step, they will cross oceans, break silence, and even swallow pride just to reach you, because respect isn't earned by pursuit. It's earned by posture, by presence, by patience. So stop running, start building, hold your ground, own the frame. In the end, you face a decision. Will you live your life reacting to others, forever adjusting, forever chasing? Or will you design a world where others move around you, where your presence shapes the room without a single word? One makes noise. The other commands the room. Choose wisely. After mastering the art of attraction through presence, the next step in the game of power is learning how to own the vision and the credit that comes with it. Law 7. Lead the vision. Own the outcome. Power doesn't reward effort. It rewards perception. And in a world obsessed with results, very few stop to ask, who actually did the work? This is the truth behind Law 7. Take credit strategically. The Stoics teach us to act with intention, not ego. But they also warn us, see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. And the reality is this: history remembers names, not hands. The person who organizes the mission, coordinates the team, and claims the result is the one remembered. Meanwhile, the one who silently builds, labors, and sacrifices behind the scenes, often forgotten. It's harsh, but it's real. If you spend your life working hard without understanding how credit flows, then you risk becoming just a footnote in someone else's legacy, a pawn in a game you never knew you were playing. Real power doesn't mean doing everything yourself. It means creating a system, a structure, where others contribute to a shared goal that you direct. You become the architect, even if you're not the one laying every brick. The greatest minds in history weren't always the strongest or the most skilled, but they were always the ones who led the vision and controlled the story around it. So, don't let false humility steal your rightful place. Don't shrink in the name of modesty while someone else stands in the spotlight you helped light. Recognition, influence, and legacy don't follow effort alone. They follow visibility. And this isn't about stealing, it's about leading. When you inspire action, when you bring people together, when you see the bigger picture while others stay buried in tasks, you earn the right to be remembered. So ask yourself honestly, are you building your own name, or are you just helping someone else build theirs? Because in the game of power, effort may be noble, but credit is immortal. Choose not just to contribute, choose to be remembered. After learning how to lead the vision and claim the credit, there's one more brutal truth you need to face. If the world doesn't see you, it forgets you. Law 6. Be so real, they can't ignore you. In this world, obscurity is death. It doesn't matter how wise you are. It doesn't matter how gifted, how skilled, how pure your intentions may be. If no one sees you, hears you, remembers you, it's as if you were never here at all. This is Law 6. Command attention or fade into silence. Now let's be clear. Visibility is not about ego. It's not vanity. It's survival. Even the Stoics, who emphasized substance over appearance, never denied this reality. The world is drawn to what it cannot ignore. To leave a mark, you must enter people's minds and stay there, not through noise, not by begging for the spotlight, but by becoming something unforgettable, something emotionally charged, something that makes people feel. That emotion could be love, it could be admiration, it could even be fear or hate. But the one response you must never accept is indifference, because indifference is erasure. Here's the irony. Even your enemies keep your name alive if they can't stop thinking about you. The greatest figures in history weren't always loved, but they were remembered. While most people live quiet, safe, invisible lives, those who dare to step into the spotlight, even briefly, are the ones who shape the direction of the crowd. So, ask yourself, will you let the world pass you by, or will you grab its attention and never let go? Control perception, stir emotions, make people feel something, anything, when your name is spoken. Because in the game of power, silence isn't peace, it's erasure. And the ones who fade quietly are the ones history buries the deepest. So, leave your mark, or be forgotten. The choice is yours. After learning that being unforgettable is the key to survival, the next step is mastering how you respond when the world knocks you down. Because in the game of power, your comeback must not whisper. It must shake the earth. Law 5. Let your comeback echo loudly. When life strikes you, don't just rise. Rise in a way that makes the world flinch. Make your return so bold, so undeniable, that those who once mocked you will never dare to speak your name carelessly again. This is law. 5. Turn your setbacks into a spectacle, because in the eyes of the crowd, perception often outweighs reality. People don't remember silent struggles. They don't recall quiet resilience. They remember the explosion. The moment someone came back stronger than before, fiercer, sharper, unstoppable. If someone humiliates you, don't waste your time with bitterness. Don't defend yourself with words. Respond with transformation. Become such a force that their insult fades into irrelevance, burned away by the intensity of your elevation. Even the Stoics, who valued inner peace and ignored applause, understood one unshakable truth: your image is your armor. The world interacts with you not as you are, but as you appear. So craft your presence with purpose. Control your narrative with clarity. Command the space you enter, or risk being swallowed by it. The world won't pause to ask, "Who are you, really?" It simply reacts to what you project. Fear or respect, presence or absence. These are the currencies of power, and they're not earned by explaining yourself. They're earned through presence, through evolution, through becoming formidable. You don't need to be cruel, but you must be someone who cannot be ignored, because the one who commands attention shapes the story, and the one who shapes the story rewrites their future. So when you fall, and you will, let that fall become your forge. Don't shrink. Don't justify. Rise, transform. Return as something so relentless, so elevated, that even your enemies feel a flicker of respect when they hear your name. You can be remembered as the one who broke, or as the one who shook the ground when he stood again. The choice is yours. After rising from a setback with undeniable strength, the next lesson is not about what you show, it's about what you hide. Law 4. Guard your words. Guard your power. Your greatest weapon can also be your greatest weakness. And that weapon is your tongue. This is law. 4. Control your words to maintain mystery. In a world addicted to constant expression, the one who remains silent becomes a mystery, and mystery is magnetic. People fear what they don't understand. They respect what they can't quite read. Every time you speak, whether it's your emotions, your plans, or your opinions, you give others a small piece of your inner world. And once they begin to recognize your patterns, they can predict you. Once they can predict you, they can manipulate you. And once they can manipulate you, they can control you, without you ever realizing it. You may think you're being clever, showing off your intelligence, your wit, your strategy. But the wise know this: mystery earns more respect than clarity ever will. The Stoics were masters of restraint. They didn't fear words. They simply understood their weight. They spoke, rarely but with purpose, and in doing so, their silence carried more gravity than most people's noise. They revealed only what was essential, and that discipline made their presence feel larger than life, like a storm you can sense but can't yet see. On the other hand, those who reveal too much fade fast. They lose presence. They become predictable. Their influence collapses under the weight of their own openness. Have you ever walked away from a conversation and thought, "I said too much"? Felt that your honesty was turned into ammunition against you? Then maybe it's time to shift. Speak less. Observe more. Let others lean in, guessing what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you're becoming, because in the realm of power, curiosity is currency. Mystery is protection. The quiet one is rarely underestimated because no one knows what he's capable of. So from now on, speak only when it strengthens your position. And until then, let your silence do the talking. After learning that silence guards your power, the next law shows you why your intentions must remain hidden until the moment they strike. Law 3. Conceal the path, reveal the result. In a world ruled by power plays and positioning, one of the greatest mistakes you can make is revealing your true intentions. The moment people know what you're chasing, your goals, your desires, your next move, they gain power over you. They can get ahead of you. They can block you, undermine you, or quietly dismantle everything you've built before you even get there. This is Law 3. Hide your intentions. The Stoics taught that true wisdom lies in restraint, especially when it comes to strategy. Because the moment you become predictable, you become vulnerable. But the one who moves in silence, who hides behind simplicity or misdirection, becomes nearly impossible to stop. They're not just moving, they're maneuvering. History doesn't always praise the strongest. It remembers the most cunning. Think of the Rothschild banking dynasty. They didn't conquer with armies or speeches. They built an empire through calculated secrecy, giving the world distractions while quietly executing plans that no one saw coming. Even in modern times, Warren Buffett applies this exact principle. He rarely shows his full hand. He speaks softly, humbly, while making decisions with massive impact behind the curtain. And by the time the world realizes what he's done, the move is already complete. When your true intent is hidden, your actions strike twice as hard, because they arrive unexpected. So reveal only what strengthens your position. Let your real goal remain buried beneath the surface, hidden under the noise and assumptions others make about you. Because mystery isn't just a shield, it's a sword. Once people see your full strategy, they begin to anticipate, to react, to interfere. And in that moment, you've lost control of the game. You're no longer the player. You've become part of someone else's plan. So stay quiet, stay calculated, and when the time is right, let your silence deliver the strike no one was ready for. After learning to conceal your true intentions, the next step is mastering how to turn your opposition into power. Law 2. Transform opposition into strength. In the game of power, trust isn't given, it's calculated. And sometimes those closest to you, the ones who smile, who cheer, who say they believe in you, are the ones you should watch the closest. Over time, friends can grow entitled to your success. They expect rewards, they demand recognition, and when you rise higher than them, some don't celebrate. They resent. But enemies? Their position is clear. There's no mask, no illusion, no guessing. And when you win them over, not by kindness, but by clarity, their loyalty often runs deeper because it's earned, not assumed. This is Law 2. Turn enemies into assets. History has shown us this truth again and again. Napoleon was betrayed not by enemies, but by friends. Julius Caesar didn't fall at the hands of a stranger. He fell to Brutus, the man he trusted most. The Stoics teach us not to see people as friends or enemies, but as elements within a larger design. A former enemy, once studied, understood, and redirected, can become a more powerful ally than someone who's been comfortable beside you all along. Why? Because complacent friends are dangerous. They're blinded by proximity. They stop questioning. They stop growing. And sometimes they quietly root for your failure when your light begins to outshine theirs. But a former rival, they remember the tension. They know what's at stake. And if you win their respect, their loyalty becomes a conscious choice, not a passive habit. The wise don't destroy every threat. They study them, reframe them, redirect them, until even tension becomes a tool. Because in the realm of power, influence belongs to the one who can turn threat into opportunity, tension into loyalty. No emotion, no ego, only calculation. After learning to turn enemies into allies, now comes the most important lesson of all, the one that determines whether you rise slowly or fall suddenly. Law 1. Master yourself before challenging power. No matter how talented, how brilliant, how ahead of your time you are, never make the mistake of shining brighter than those above you. This is Law 1. Never outshine the master. In lois, every structure of power, whether it's a kingdom, a company, or a conversation, there is one invisible thread that holds it all together: ego. And ego is fragile. Challenge it, intentionally or not, and you risk being erased before you even understand what went wrong. History is filled with the names of those who were silenced not because they were wrong, but because they were too right, too soon. Galileo, Copernicus, so many others. Their ideas changed the world, but their truths threatened the pride of those in charge. And power, more often than we like to admit, isn't driven by logic. It's driven by fear, fear of becoming irrelevant. Those who sit at the top are rarely afraid of failure. They fear being replaced. They fear being outshone. And that's why the wise don't just master skill. They master restraint. They learn the art of concealment. They let others feel superior, even while subtly guiding the outcome from behind the curtain, because true intelligence isn't about dazzling people. It's about knowing when to speak, when to move, when to hold back. You don't need to impress the master. You need to survive him, so protect his ego to protect your position. Let him believe he is still in control until the moment comes when you no longer need to be in his shadow. When the time is right, rise, not with noise, not with rebellion, but with such quiet force that no one can stop it. Because sometimes real power isn't about shining, it's about knowing when to stay still and when to strike. Now you've seen all 15 laws. The question is, will you remember them or will you learn them the hard way? Power is silent. Learn to wield it or be ruled by those who do.